Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. It means we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jacob back and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up, you're hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Brandon Taylor in 15 minutes. Former number 18, member of the 2011 Tiger secondary that was awesome. Tyrann Mathieu was part of that secondary. He stepped away from football yesterday. We'll get Brandon Taylor's reaction to all of that in 15 minutes. It's What If Wednesday. We'll get to that. The Saints on the practice field today. We will certainly get a report on that. I kind of wanted to put that towards the back end of the show to see what comes out from the practice reports as well as the press conferences. So didn't want to rush into anything right now while everything's still kind of matriculating out of lovely Metairie. So we'll get to the Saints in hour number 2. I've got my profile going forward on the position groups at LSU. And today, offensive tackle is what we will talk about. And LSU Summer Ball update. Is there a few, not a lot of LSU players playing Summer Ball, quite frankly, but there are a few out there and a couple that are playing very well, so I want to highlight that later on in the show. So lots and lots and lots to do. Let's crank it up the way we do every single day with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's opening drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
Pretty surprising news last night, at least from my perspective, when Brendan Fairbarn from Fox 44 here in Baton Rouge was out at Southern's first practice yesterday. And obviously we don't lead with Southern football a ton here, but it certainly merits that today, is Trey Holly was out at Southern's practice today. The reports from those around Baton Rouge are that Holly has enrolled at Southern and is joining the Southern football team as a walk-on to play running back. Of course, Trey Holly is Louisiana's all-time leader in high school rushing yard. Has absolutely shattered Nick Brissett's high school record up at Union Parish. Ran for 160 touchdowns, over 10,000 yards, and was a 4-star back, one of the top 10 backs in the country according to Rivals, and enrolled at LSU for the 2023 season. Now, the 2023 offense at LSU was pretty good. Had a Heisman Trophy winner, had some first-round wide receiver talent, some Pro Bowl talent on the outside. They scored a lot of points. And Trey Holly didn't play a lot as a freshman. He did rip off a 60-yard touchdown run against Army, but he didn't play very much. And then I think all of you are well aware of what happened after that. There was a incident in Union Parish, a shooting. He was charged and turned himself in, subsequently arrested on 3 felony counts. And at that point, his football career very, very much in doubt. And so the trial was set to begin for Trey Holly 2 months later. They dropped the attempted murder charge against him, but he was still to stand trial for aggravated criminal damage to property and illegal use of a weapon. And that trial has been delayed multiple times, one for evidence collection, and then one this past month for a broken air conditioner in the courthouse. And Trey Holly just hasn't gotten his day in court yet. I'm really not here to litigate what happened that day. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the attorneys have found. I don't know what we presented in a court of law. I don't know what the result of that situation will be. Certainly an incident where a young person is shot is far more significant than who's on the field on 3rd and 7. But Trey Holly's future, really his present, has been up in the air for better than a year and a half at this point. And we have heard Brian Kelly in the distant past, SEC Media Days last year in Dallas, talk about expecting Holly back with the team and expecting him to be part of the group, and then it just never happened because the justice system hasn't run its course yet. And we have not talked about Trey Holly from a football perspective on this show, really on this station, over the last 7 months because there have been no developments and nothing to suggest that he's going to return to LSU. And now that essentially reaches its conclusion as we understand that he's enrolled at Southern and is going to walk on and play there. So I'm not here again to talk about what's going to come of the legal situation or why Southern's taking him in or why he couldn't be on LSU's team. Those are questions that I don't have answers to. So I have no idea. But I do know that he's going to play for Southern at this point, and LSU is going to move on without him at this point. And so you look at LSU at running back, and again, no one was, as of 24 hours ago when this had not broken yet, no one was counting, well, you got Durham, and then Jackson's there, and then you got Harlan Berry, and you bring in JT Lindsey, and Trey Holly will probably come back. Like, that wasn't part of the discussion. But it does remove that possibility, right? So now you look at LSU and their 4 running backs, and you go, that's a thin group. It is. I'm more than okay with the talent level. I think Caden Durham is an all-SEC level tailback. I think he showed that with his strength and balance against South Carolina. I think he showed that with his home run hitting ability, both in the running game and in the pass catching game that you saw before he got hurt. I think he is an explosive player that, yes, a little bit undersized from a height perspective, but he's strong, he's fast, he's a home run hitter. I like Caden Durham's talent. I've liked him since I watched him at Duncanville. Like, that dude has some real skills. I'm not ready to completely give up on Caleb Jackson. They are completely different. We have seen some highlights from Caleb Jackson, but if you look at the highlights of Caleb Jackson, they are him using his speed to get to the edge, his power to run over people, a long kickoff return here, a big run from scrimmage there. You rarely see Caleb Jackson in his college career take a handoff, put his foot in the ground, cut it back, make a linebacker miss, or run over a linebacker and create a big play. He is big, strong, fast in spades. He has not shown the ability to use his vision to be an effective every down runner in the SEC. So he hasn't unlocked that potential yet, and you really didn't see a lot of him on the field last year. You saw Caden Durham, you saw Josh Williams. Like, that was essentially what you went with last year. And now you bring in a couple of freshmen. Harlan Berry was here in the spring. JT Lindsey arrived in the fall. And Berry is number 1 back in the country. And when you hear evaluators talk about Harlan Berry, you hear them mention the name Reggie Bush, and you hear number 1 running back in the country, and you hear 5-star, and then you start to think about Leonard Fournette and what he did, and Darius Geis and what he did, and how they were so quick to the field and so quick to produce, and you go, that guy, boom, that guy can absolutely play. And he may well can. I don't know. I mean, I saw in the spring him catch a pass out in the flat and make like 6 guys miss, because he is incredibly elusive, has dynamic vision, speed, balance, the whole deal. He's not ideal SEC size for a running back. That's not debatable. He is thin. He is slender at this point in his career. So hypothetically, and this is we're having a depth exercise here, okay? Hypothetically, if Durham had to miss 3 weeks, high ankle sprain, can't go. Like, you good with just Caleb Jackson, Harlan Berry, and JT Lindsey, who hasn't had a practice yet? Like, that's a thin group. When you look at some of the best LSU backfields, they were incredibly deep. They had 4 or 5 guys you could go to. I mean, the best example is the 2011 group that started the year basically with Spencer Ware, and you had Alfred Blue, and you had Michael Ford, and you had Kenny Hilliard. Like, you could just go and go and go and go. Terrence McGee was on the back end of that. They didn't really play him a lot, but you had 4 guys that really got time. Ware would hammer away at him early in the game. Ford would take the ball to the edge when a tired defense didn't want to deal with that. Blue was a big physical back that played in the NFL that could hammer you away. And then about midway through the season, it was the Tennessee game of that year. Kenny Hilliard emerged, and he was kind of your best back down the stretch. He was your lead back against Arkansas in the season finale, your lead back against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Like, that's the model. But Jacob Hester played with Chiron Carey and Joseph Adai and Justin Vincent, and like, he played with a lot of backs, and they rotated guys through. Ali Broussard in that era that was there with Justin Vincent, and you go through Charles Scott and Keelan Williams, and that group was awesome. Stephen Ridley followed, and you generally had like 3 or 4 guys in a backfield that were not true freshmen and were kind of ready to play. And this group doesn't really have that. So, like, to me, Holly would have just been a depth piece to add into that, and now he would be a junior. And I think there was a point in time there through his sophomore year where he wasn't at LSU where the thought was, like, he'll eventually come back. Again, this is not a legal discussion. I don't know what happened. But I'm talking football. And that possibility is gone now. So you look at LSU's running back, and you are one Caden Durham ding away from looking at that group going, this is really thin. And I probably should have brought this up prior to Trey Holly enrolling at Southern and starting his football practice, but it crystallized it for sure. Because I also would not have been completely stunned if I would have stumbled upon news yesterday that said Trey Holly has seen his day in court. He's been proven not guilty. He's enrolling in school in the fall, and he's going to join LSU. And right now, like I think if he did, he'd be really rusty, and he hadn't played in a year and a half, and that's just all kind of stuff you'd have to deal with. But that would have certainly been a nice boost to the running back depth chart, and now that's an impossibility. So I'm good with Caden Durham. I'm not done with Caleb Jackson, and I think Harlan Berry, you get him the ball in the screen game, you get him the ball out of the backfield in third down so he knows where he's supposed to be. Like, yeah, that's a guy that is a quality third back. But he needs to stay the third back. He becomes a second back, all of a sudden, you're just too light on numbers. So, Trey Holly, enrolling at Southern, we'll see what comes of his trial. We'll see what comes of his year at Southern, and we'll see what comes of his football future. But for LSU right now, pushing off the dock, we're 1 week and a day away from fall camp starting. You're light at tailback. Like that is a truth. And hopefully they've got an ability to stay healthy at that position. If they do, they'll be fine. If they don't, it could get a little bit dicey there for LSU at the running back spot. That's our Genesis opening drive here on this Wednesday, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking to get in the pool of your dream. Like, it's hot out there. You come home from work, you're thinking, man, I just can't even go in the backyard. But you could if you had a custom swimming pool to get in. The kids want to spend summer out there, got grandkids, you want to get them into a swimming pool, call Joey Blanchard and contact the folks at Renaissance Homes and Pools at builtbyrenaissance.com. They do outdoor kitchens, they do custom swimming pools, and the software that they've got on hand, I've gone through it with Joey, is incredible to look at. You may have an idea of what you want your pool to look like. You may have no idea where to start. Either way, the software is going to allow you to walk through it step by step, to scale, three-dimensional. You can include an outdoor kitchen in, and you can really see exactly what your situation is going to look like before they ever put a shovel in the ground. And when they do put a shovel in the ground, Joey's going to be there every single step of the way. From the digging, to the laying of the concrete, to the filling of the pool, to the finish, all that, the owner of the company is going to be right there. He's done it for dozens and dozens and dozens of people in the Baton Rouge area. You can be next. Go to builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. We'll come back with Brandon Taylor talking Tyrann Mathieu retirement. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Plenty to do today. This week at times can feel like the slowest week of the year prior to LSU getting things cranked up, but you've obviously got the news we just talked about with Trey Holly transferring to Southern, and then Tyron retired yesterday, and that brought us some news. We've got a little bit of summer ball that I want to talk about as well, and the Saints did get to the practice field. It was a practice today for the Saints where they went over with just helmets on, nothing too significant, but we do have a report up at louisianasports.net right now from Ross Jackson. If you want your Saints fix, you can find it there for absolutely free, so we invite you to go check that out. One of the guys that was not on the practice field today for New Orleans was Tyrann Mathieu. Yesterday, he posted on his Instagram that he was hanging up his cleats for good. Guy who was a superstar at LSU, went on to have a brilliant NFL career that included All-Pro designations and a Super Bowl championship. A guy that shared the defensive backfield with us at LSU was Brandon Taylor, wore number 18 for the 2011 squad. He joins us now on the Gems Fire hotline to talk about it. BT, how we doing, boss?
What's going on, Hunt? Doing good, man. Can't complain at all.
Not at all. We got football coming. I'm assuming you were probably on the job yesterday or maybe just getting off when you got the news that Tyrann was hanging him up. What'd you think when you saw the news?
Man, it was kind of bittersweet because it's the end of an era. He was the last one of the 2011 secondary to play in the NFL, and you can see like that bunch come to an end as far as like a career-long football season. And then I actually got a chance to talk to Coach Ron Cooper last night, who was our secondary coach in that bunch. And man, he was in tears. Like, he was like, man, he was like, y'all blessed me for when y'all ever do that y'all feel. He said, I got to do what a bunch of coaches dream of doing, and that's to coach a bunch like y'all. And it's just a surreal moment just to see it wrap up like that. And I couldn't be more proud of the time, man. From the high of the highs to the low of the lows, back to the high of the highs.
Yeah, man, it was I talked about it yesterday. It was amazing to watch kind of that journey. I want to go back to the beginning because you were obviously on campus and had been for a couple of years when Tyrann showed up. And, like, I'm not a scout, but I got to campus and I watched this young cornerback working out. I'm like, well, that guy's probably going to redshirt. He's kind of small and skinny, and they got a lot of, like, future pros here. And He did not redshirt. He was making plays the first game against North Carolina. When did you know Tyron had something a little bit different?
Oh man, it was when it was actually my sophomore year, the summer going to my junior year when we offered Tyron, and just seeing him at camp, like we knew we was going to offer that Coach Coop was going to offer Darryl Simon, but just because of his height, size, weight, and he played corner.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Nah, Brandon, it's another one over there." He said, "It's a little light-skinned kid with a bald head." But all the guys from St. Aug, when they come to LSU camp, they would shave their heads off. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh, he didn't make it. But Hunt, when I tell you, the quarterback threw like an out route, and the receiver, he was like 6'2" receiver. He jumped up and like he tipped out. Tyron jumped with him, and he kept peeking out. And he went up, snatched it out the air, and took it back for a touchdown, pick six. And I'm like, yeah, he got it. And then as soon as he stepped on campus, it was play after play after play. And you would think that it's like, okay, like he'll pan out once, like we get into like training camp and end of training camp and season start. But no, he was just getting the ball rolling at that point.
What did he mean to that team in 2011? I mean, obviously the plays are obvious against Oregon. He has to strip and score. And against West Virginia, makes an incredible play before the half. Same thing with Kentucky, Arkansas, Georgia. I mean, what did he mean to that team?
Oh, Hunt, man, you can't put a max on it. Like he was everything. Like for the guys that wanted to play, he was a motivation. For the guys that played on the field with him, you had to compete against him, because if you whiffed on a tackle or if you were delayed or you hesitated, Tyron was there. Like he was there. He was gonna make the play. Like he did not miss tackles, none of that. So you was competing with him, like, and it was a friendly competition, competing against like everybody on that defense, because I mean you could just name drop anybody on that defense you had to compete against them. The DNs, they outran the secondary, so it was like you had to be on your 8-point game in order to even get some recognition on the field with Tyron on the field. Because I go out there and get a sack, I'm on top of the world. Tyron go out there and get a strip sack, fumble, recover the fumble, score a touchdown, and then go kick the field goal. And it was like, back to the drawing board, BT. Gotta go do something else. And it's just like it was continuous. And he just brought the better athlete out of everybody on that field. And I think a lot of players, when they got to the NFL that played in that secondary, they took a decline once they got to the NFL, because you've never seen a person on the field like that.
Let's talk about the Arkansas game. Y'all get behind 14-0 on the fumble that pops up in the air, and Arkansas runs it in for a touchdown, kind of a stunned stadium. What did that punt return mean? I mean, did you feel like the team was in a little bit of trouble at all or not?
No, at any point in time, I didn't think so. I just think that we just spotted them, the truth be told, because that defense, like, we were going to give you something, like, to make the game interesting. Like, we had this type of swag and confidence, and we played those mind games with our own offense at practice. And Coach Shavers would say it on the sidelines and the interviews, like, he said, I've never seen the defense this loose, like the way we cut up on the sideline. We were down 14-0, and we were laughing in the locker room and, like, just joking around and playing. He was like, y'all can't chill out. And we go out there and just make plays, and Tyron with the punt returns, and it's like, it was just like you never knew what was going to happen, because you were expecting it, because you've seen it all week during practice. And it wasn't a surprise to the players, but to the fans, it was amazing, because, I mean, they were seeing it in real time, but we've seen it every single day, so it was like the norm to us.
I've never seen a position group like y'all on the practice field. I will say that. I've seen a lot of LSU practices in my day. Y'all's demeanor was different than any I've ever seen, and for good reason. So you go on to play in San Diego at the time with the Chargers, and you get the word while I'm assuming in training camp, that Tyron has been dismissed from the football team. What was your reaction when you heard that?
Oh, man, that was like it was like a punch to the gut, because the year in 2011, Tyron was actually my roommate that year. Like, he had a little trouble, and Coach Miles wanted him to be my roommate. That way we can hold each other accountable and stuff like that, and keep an eye out for him and everything. And just for him to go through and have that year to where he's a Heisman candidate and he's not able to build on that resume that he had as far as a freshman and a sophomore, which his stats are still stupid compared just to do what he did in those 2 years at LSU. For him not to be able to finish it out the right way that he wanted to at LSU, it's just a punch to the gut, man.
Did you talk to him after that? Did you talk to Tyron after that?
Oh, yeah, I did. I talked to him and just let him know, like, man, everybody gets a second chance in life, and he was able to get his, and he didn't blame it on anybody else, which he took a full accountability of that, and that lets you know, like, what type of man he was, where he was going in life. He never not once blamed that on anybody else. He took full accountability for it, and he actually gave praise to everybody that was there in his corner that helped him, like Shelley, head trainer at LSU, Jack Marucci, Patrick Peterson, like people that like took him under their wing and guided him into a way to where he is the man that he is today. And it just shows the test, like when you put your full focus to it and you don't point the finger, you actually look in the mirror and you correct the man that you're looking at in the mirror, wonders can happen for you in this world.
It's been wild to watch Tyron from that low that you talked about to the highs that he's reached. One of the things that I've heard you speak with a ton of pride about is the 2011 team, not on the football field, like what y'all have done after y'all have finished your football time, whenever that was, some for college, some little in the NFL, some along in the NFL. Tyron can kind of do whatever he wants now. What do you see for him in his future?
Tyron need to go kick it. Just soak it in, man. Just reflect on it. But I can actually see Tyron Matthew doing exactly what Kelvin Kemp is doing. Coaching the NFL team as far as a coordinator or a position coach and coaching somebody trying to get him. Like, yeah, college is an option, but Tyron, his mindset, he needs to be at the highest level.
I think we lost BT's cell there. Brandon, we still got you there. It was just crapping out a little bit back. Do we still have him?
Oh, yeah, you hear me?
I got you now. Yeah, you said that Tyron needs to be at the highest level. What do you think makes him a great NFL coach?
Oh, man, just his mindset, his understanding of the game and the way he communicate and get the best out of players, not by talking, but by action and just putting in the studying and then being able to apply what you learn in the classroom to the field and then just honing on that. Like he is, Tyron Mayweather, in my mind, put it like this, he's the Floyd Mayweather of DBs because he's constantly learning his opponent throughout the game. He's just not stuck and fixated on something that he learned in practice. Like, no, he's reacting and countering to what the guy across from him is doing. And somebody that has a mind like that would be a terrific coach in the NFL.
Last one, y'all's 2011 team opened up with Oregon. I know y'all's sights have been set on them all summer into camp. LSU's got kind of the same deal with the big game at Clemson. What's this camp going to be like for those guys with a game that big in the first one?
Like this, it's not the hardest football camp they ever been in their life. I don't think they'll win that game. Like they gotta. Brian Kelly has to break that entire team down to where they're nothing, and then he build them up the way that he needs to. He's going to have to break them. It's going to be hot. They need to be out there hitting. No fight. Ain't no fight going to win you no football game, which we seen last year. But I think that we got to go in there and we got to lay it out on the line. Like, you got to pull every card that you can pull to go in there into the generic freaking Death Valley, whatever they call it, and pull out a win against this Clemson team, which I got a kind of a sour taste in my mouth for Dabo Swinney. Just way for like comments he's always made about like transfer portal and all this and that. Like, you got your opinion, but and then everything else with him, like him being a former Alabama player, like it's a lot on the line with the game. Like, you got to go in there and handle business.
We'll see. I'm sure we'll catch up sometime in fall camp, and we'll see you for the opener, BT. Appreciate some time, man.
All right, have a good one.
Sure will. That's Brandon Taylor, former Tiger, number 18, recounting Tyron Matthew. I've done pregame with Brandon for 7 years now, and I didn't know he was Tyron's roommate in 2011. That makes sense because BT was the leader. He was 18, and obviously Tyron was teetering there a little bit. And Les Miles said, we got to try to get this guy in line. What's the best way to do it? Put him with Brandon. And obviously It got him through 11, but BT wasn't there to start the 2012 year. He was in San Diego getting ready for training camp, and obviously Tyron took it one too far. But crazy to think about the immediacy with which Tyron grew up from that exact moment. You never know what that low is going to do to somebody, whether that's going to be the rock bottom where you bounce right back out of it, or if that's just going to send you without any structure down toward the bottom. And we know what ended up being the case there. And I mean that, and I talk about this all the time. I'm going to go to LSU football practice next Thursday, and I'll tell you, like, it won't be the most interesting thing I've ever done. I'll go take roll. We'll look at some of the freshmen. We'll tell you what they were doing. I'll take a look at what Kyle Williams' demeanor is on there. There'll be some things for me to pull out, then we'll bring to you. But I will tell you that you won't see anything on the field that day like you saw in 2011 with that defensive back group, with Eric Reed and Brandon Taylor and Tyrann Mathieu and Morris Claiborne and Ron Brooks, Daryl Simon. Those dudes walked out on the practice field, said, we're the baddest dudes here. I don't really care what y'all think, and we're going to be here. We're going to get our work done. We're going to have some fun doing it, and then we're going to go out there on Saturday and we're going to kick somebody's butt. And that's what they did every week. It was just amazing. And Tyron was right there in the middle of that swagger and that confidence. So was BT as well. So thanks to him for giving us a little bit of time here on this Wednesday. Let's come back with What If Wednesday next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Every single new purchase, 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Every single new purchase, 3 years of complimentary maintenance. These are as good as you're going to find in the industry. When I say Genesis, you should think luxury. That's what it is. It's a luxury brand of vehicles. When you get behind the wheel and drive it, it's a luxury brand of service. The people you're going to work with are second to none. When I say luxury, don't immediately go, well, I obviously can't afford that. Take a look online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Go see them. Airline at Pico, across from Women's Hospital. You won't regret it. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. Find that entire inventory online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
With bold leadership and a growing population, Louisiana is rewarding excellence, attracting high-value companies, and fueling opportunity. Louisiana is winning now, and the sky is the limit. With every region and industry growing across a beautiful state that's more than a culture, it's a community with a quality of life that's more than satisfying. It's sustainable because the Louisiana you thought you knew is better than ever now. Come home, Louisiana.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wildin'.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
A quick update on some LSU baseball players in summer ball coming up to finish the hour here in about 10 minutes, and then we'll transition back to football. Offensive tackle at LSU plus the Saints practice report coming up at 2:15 as they were out at Metairie at the Saints facility for the first time in training camp today. So lots and lots of action here in South Louisiana. We'll get to all that moving forward. But for right now, it is Wednesday, bottom of the first hour. It's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
Alrighty, first one. What if LSU had a top 50 rushing offense this season?
They'll average 40 a game. I mean, if they're one of the better running teams in the country, then I know that the passing offense is going to come from that, and they'll just be a force. They'll be one of the top 5 offenses in college football. Let's see what LSU, in terms of rushing offense, ranked last year. LSU last year in rushing offense was 107th with 116 yards per game. If they were 50th, top 50, so let's call it 40th, that would be an extra 65 yards a game. I mean, and not even just the yardage that it would create, the ability to keep defenses honest and to force teams to creep up and then have Hilton and Brown and Anderson ready to run by people. Like it would just be and then a quarterback that's very, very capable of making you miss and making it hurt. Like, yeah, they'd be a juggernaut. I'm looking for LSU to be top 75 in the country in rushing this year. They're in the top 50. They've really got something.
All right, next one. What if your wife caught you listening to Coldplay?
Listening would be no issue.
Yeah,
I like a few Coldplay songs. Yeah. Sky Full of Stars, wonderful jam there. What else do I know? Something about Yellow. Is that Coldplay too?
The song is called Yellow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it rings a bell. That was something in the back of my brain. Yeah, it's a good song too. I like some Coldplay songs. Just can't go with your employee.
Yeah.
And have your arm around her when the jumbotron hits.
Coldplay is kind of like the Goo Goo Dolls, except they just had way more hits than the Goo Goo Dolls.
I don't think so. Yeah. I think the Goo Goo Dolls significantly more phenomenal.
Not really.
Is there any chance this was a stunt, by the way?
That
the guy, the CEO of whatever tech company, put a Coldplay lyric in the apology thing he issued.
Was that real though?
Was it fake?
I thought
I'm not trying to get to the bottom of it, so it just felt like I never heard of the tech company that he was talking about. So it certainly swept the internet by storm. So that would be a solid move if the marketing company decided to get Coldplay in on the act on that.
Yeah.
But don't do that, folks. Not a good idea.
No, it's not. I have heard some theories about people saying that it could have been staged, but I don't know. It seemed pretty real, but who knows, I guess. But next one, what if Tyrann Mathieu was on the field in the 2012 Alabama game?
I mean, that seems like it's his spot to play the nickel and to come down and pick up the running back on the screen pass. I can't promise you that it would have mattered. I would have liked to have the most dynamic defensive player in the country on the field for that game. Yes. Am I 100% confident? It's not like a quarterback where I know it's going to make an appreciable difference. It stands to reason he could have made an appreciable difference, and man, is history a lot different if LSU does win that game. But I can't swear it would have made a difference.
Yeah,
that play, that Yeldon screen play, is going to be burned into my brain forever because I was on the field for it. It was when I was still writing for BBI, and we spent the second half of the fourth quarter, we always went to the sideline. So, like, that play was right in front of me. The 2013 Traven Durrell against Arkansas was right in front of me. I was on the field for the game of the century in 2011 when Michael Ford stepped out of bounds right in front of me. But that play, it's that awful, I talk about this all the time, is that awful, awful, awful sound, that dull roar out of the south end zone.
Yeah.
It's the whole stadium goes quiet except for that little bitty 4,000 pocket that goes, and it's just the worst sound in the world.
All right, next one. What if you had to watch half the stages of the Tour de France or all of the next two live golf events? Man, that's going to be a tough one.
That's the worst question I've ever heard. Are naps allowed? Or do I have to watch?
You got to watch. You got to watch.
I mean, I think I've got to stick to my principles and say you can do anything for a short amount of time and just watch the Tour de France and be completely miserable. Like, I like watching golf, but the principle of that league will not allow me to do it. So I'm going to say I'm going to be miserable and watch the Tour de France. I would much rather watch golf than cycling, clearly.
Of course.
But I can't watch live on principle, so I'm going to watch people pedal on TV. That's really riveting stuff.
Yep, it is. All right, I think that's it, unless you got some more. I'll check Twitter, but I think that was it.
I don't believe so, unless you've got any in the Bayou Ford chat. And I don't think those. What if YouTube?
Yeah, we've had some issues with the internet.
That is, it's beyond the scope of my purview,
Yeah.
or my purview of work, or course and scope of work. I'm not sure what the phraseology I'm looking for there, but it's beyond me there at that point. So appreciate those of you that hit us on Twitter with some. Hunt, I will join you in watching the Tour de France. Well, Greg, don't. Like, I'm not going to be pleasant. I'm not going to be pleasant to be around. I'm not going to feign interest. I'm not going to allow you to explain to me why they have teams in different colored jerseys that are cool. I'm not going to be a good sport about it. I'm just going to be pouty and cranky because I don't want to watch people ride bicycles. That would be generally how my demeanor would be at that point. But that all said, I'm thrilled you like watching it. I don't criticize folks for enjoying their time doing what they want to do. I just don't want to do almost any of it. Like, the things that I like are just crammed into a box about this big, and that's what I like to do. And I don't generally expand my horizons. Big character flaw of mine, not really in a hurry to change it.
Yeah.
And I was encouraged by the fact that we did that Enneagram test here, and I was a 9 on my number, and it says if you're not passionate about it, you just are not going to get into it. And that's generally true. I will explain it to you. You will not, Greg. You will not explain it to me. I will not listen. I will not care. I will not think it's awesome. But I'm glad you're thrilled with it, and I'm not going to watch Live Golf either. So that's it for the What If Wednesday here on this Wednesday. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. When we come back, I dug around on the internet. Summer stats can be a little bit spotty, but I did hammer home on a couple of guys for LSU baseball. I've got a total of 5 here that we'll get into and what they've done this summer. Keep in mind, a lot of LSU's baseball players have not gone off to play this summer. They played all the way through June. They come back to school in August. You're basically just taking July off to hang out, do some cool things. And so a lot of guys are not going out to play, but some have gone out to play, and I'll give you an update on how those guys are doing. Get back to football to start hour number 2. It's a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all.
Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business is always...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
You missed my interview with Brandon Taylor at the B block of the show, 1:15, 30 minutes ago. He was awesome talking about Tyron, talking about seeing him at camp for the first time, talking about the amazing 2011 season he had with the issues that he had off the field and BT becoming his roommate, and then Brandon going off to San Diego and hearing that Tyron had gotten kicked off. I think it was just a great chat from BT, who was obviously there firsthand for a lot of that, and was gracious enough to give us a little bit of time here on the day after Tyron announces his retirement. We'll talk about the Saints and their first day of practice coming up here in about 30 minutes. I want to talk LSU offensive line in 15, but a little bit of baseball to sprinkle here at the back end of the hour. As I mentioned there right before the break, most of the LSU team that's coming back is not playing in a bunch of summer league baseball games. You had a guy like Kason Evans pitch a huge workload. He's going to take a month off. Stephen Milam doesn't need to go out there and get 35 at-bats on the Cape. That's not something that's necessary for him at this point. Same goes for Chris Stanfield, who was kind of seeing what the draft was going to hold for him. I haven't seen anything from Jake Brown. I know he was at the fight on Saturday in New Orleans, so I don't know that he's doing anything of substance over the summer. So not a lot going on with some of the bigger names, but there are some guys that have gone out in the summer, and I went back and dug up some stats again. I would not testify to these under oath. I think there's reason to believe they're right on the money, but like summer stats can be a little bit spotty. So I'll just give you what I can glean from the internet, being that these guys are in the Midwest and up on the Cape, and I'm sitting here in South Louisiana combing the internet for them. But Maverick Rizzi is on the Cape right now with the Brewster Whitecaps, and he, statistically speaking, has been brilliant. 6 2/3 innings, has only allowed 2 base runners in 6 2/3 innings. He's given 1 hit and 1 hit by pitch. He has struck out 12 with no walks for Brewster. This is exactly what I'm looking for from Maverick Rizzi. If you go read my piece on LouisianaSports.net, I've got some video of him throwing a couple of sliders on the Cape, looking absolutely nasty. You know what Rizzi's ceiling is. Y'all saw it at various times, some early in the season. I mean, Jay Johnson came on a post-game press conference and said he thought Maverick Rizzi might lead LSU in appearances out of the bullpen. Now, that didn't happen because the strike zone evaded him at times, but there were also times where he came out there and nobody was hitting him. It was 97, 99. It was a good slider. He was throwing strikes, and then there were times he'd go out there and not throw it over the plate. And he got hit a little bit by the SEC, and that happens to freshmen. But 6 2/3, 1 hit, no runs, 12 strikeouts, no walks, 2 base runners allowed. That's some great stuff from Maverick Rizzi on Cape Cod, so awesome for him. John Pearson is in the Northwoods League. It was really important for John to go out there and get at-bats. His at-bats this year were brutal on him because he was on the bench all year, and then he'd come in against some tough left-handed bullpen arm, and they'd ask him to go in there and give it one swing in the 7th inning. That's a hard way to advance your game as a college baseball player, especially as a freshman. So this is a big summer for him. Get out to Summer League, grab a wooden bat, and go get some at-bats. And he's done that thus far. He's playing first base and third base for the Lacrosse Loggers in the Northwoods League. Keep in mind, these are wooden bat leagues. They are catered to the pitcher. It's tough to hit in these leagues. And John Pearson is hitting .271 with a wooden bat. He's got 4 doubles and 3 home runs. He's drawn 8 walks, 16 strikeouts. So this is a guy that when he gets back to campus, John Pearson's going to look at his position group, and he's going to see Seth Dardar, and he's going to see Braden Simpson, and he's going to see Trent Caraway, and he's going to see Zach York. I mean, these are guys that are going to come in with the intention of playing out of the transfer portal, not to mention Mason Braun, who comes in the signing class, who's a really good left-handed hitting first baseman. So Pearson's got a lot of competition. So it's good for him to get out there, hitting about .270, showing a little bit of pop with the wooden bat. That's a solid summer thus far for John Pearson. Hopefully he can get another month's worth of at bat there in the Northwoods League. Cade Arrabidi on Cape Cod as well. He is on a team that, based on an interview I watched today, has 4 catchers. I can't tell you anything about the other 3 catchers that are playing for the Chatham Anglers, but there are apparently 4 of them up there. So Arambidi's only played in 9 games according to the stat sheet. He's 5 for 32. That's 192. 3 walks, 15 strikeouts. So not a great start to the summer for Cade Arrabidi offensively, but I would suggest this. Arambidi's going to get a ton of at-bats coming up in the fall. He's going to get a ton, and that's a big deal. What he needs to work on the most is defense. He's got to find a way to be a more consistent defensive catcher. I talked about this a lot in February and March until Hernandez won the job and it wasn't worth talking about anymore. Like, catching in high school and catching in college are 2 different planets. High-level Texas pitchers in high school are throwing 86, 87 miles an hour with bendy breaking balls, and you just make catches. You get to LSU, and you're catching Cade Anderson, and you're catching Anthony Ianson. Cade Anderson's going to be in the big leagues in 2 years, a year and a half. They're throwing, Chase Shore's throwing 101 with bowling ball sink, plus a slider. It's a different world. And so the more reps you can get with that, the better. I'm just glad he's up there and playing a little bit. I'm sure he's practicing a little bit as well. He just needs reps. And I think Cade's got so many tools. I think he's going to be a great catcher at LSU. The bat has been okay at best at Cape Cod, but when you come back and hopefully grab that metal bat and get some more consistent ABs instead of having 4 catchers on a team in Baton Rouge, that may look a little bit different. So that's Cade Arrabidi. And then Devin Sheeran, huge summer for him. Tore his ACL last summer, missed a whole year. You'd expect some rust. He comes back. He's in Cape Cod, and he's thrown 12 1/3 innings, allowed 11 hits and 6 earned runs. So that's an ERA of about 4.5. He struck out 12 and walked 8. Again, I would expect rust from Sheeran. He did in an outing a couple of weeks ago. It was in late June, about a month ago. Threw 2 1/3 scoreless no-hit relief innings. Struck out 4 in that outing. He's a guy that has big stuff. He had big stuff at Mount St. Mary's. That was evident in the game he pitched against Mississippi State. And I absolutely believe that Devin Sheeran is going to be in the mix to be in the starting rotation. You got Evans, you got Cowan, you got Newt, you got Cooper Williams, you got Schmidt. You go and get Cooper Moore. I think they think Danny Lockenmeyer can be a starter. Like, there are a lot of guys in the mix. But I think Sheeran is certainly in that mix. And if he's not in the mix and somebody else wins that job, he clearly can go into the bullpen and let it rip at 96, 97 with a good breaking ball. So he's just getting innings, and I think that's a good thing for him. No idea how long they expect him to be there. Pitchers are on different plans. Sometimes they go up there, I need you to give me 5 outings and come home. Sometimes I need you to get as many innings as they'll let you throw, stay up there through August. Like it's you never know what you're looking at there. But I don't know what Sheeran's plan is, but he's gotten some innings on the Cape this year, and that's very, very good. And I saw Eddie Yaman, saw his debut. He's 2 for 4 with a walk. And that's great for him on Cape Cod. He redshirted, didn't get any at-bats in a game this past year, so he's got his hands full to try to win a job. He's probably behind Aaron Beatty. Then you've got Omar Cerna coming in as a catcher as well. I think first base is going to be a very difficult place for him to crack the lineup. But Yaman had a really good year at Dayton 2 years ago, and now on Cape Cod and had a nice debut, and we'll see how many bats he can get up there. So, again, not like earth-shattering stuff from the top-tier guys on LSU's lineup. A lot of those guys are not playing this summer, but just an update on some of those guys are looking to this point. So wanted to get that up. If you want to read about it and see some video of some of the guys, I've got that up at louisianasports.net. The tweets are embedded with some highlights of those guys from their summers thus far. All right, we'll shut down hour number 1 here. When we come back, I want to look at LSU's offensive tackles. Big deal. And then we'll get into Saints as they reported this training camp earlier today. So lots to do after Sports Center. We'll pause for national headlines. Back for second hour of a Wednesday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business. 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
I'm Doug Brown. Giants head coach Brian Daboll says today Russell Wilson is his starting quarterback. Wilson joined the team as a free agent. The Giants also have Jameis Winston, another free agent signing, first-round draft pick Jackson Dart, and Tommy DeVito. Jaguars rookie Travis Hunter will practice on offense and defense during training camp. He'll get reps at wideout and corner. Texans running back Joe Mixon opens camp on the non-football injury list. He has an ankle injury. Which GM is under the most pressure heading toward baseball's trade deadline? ESPN's Buster Olney says it's Brian Cashman of the Yankees.
Their farm system is in a better place than where it was last year. They're in a better position to make trades, and I think he will. If the Diamondbacks are going to wind up being the biggest seller, I think the Yankees will wind up being the most significant buyer.
Buster Olney on Clinton and Friends. Baseball today, the Reds beat the Nationals 5-0. The first complete game shutout for Nick Lodolo. He allows 4 hits, strikes out 8, throws just 105 pitches.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour number 2 here on the Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. The Browns just did a helmet reveal in whatever river runs next to Cleveland. Maybe it's the lake. They say it's the mistake by the lake. And they were pulling the tarp off this big inflatable helmet, and one of the employees that was helping pull the tarp off fell in the lake. It's the stupidest video I've ever seen, but it just encapsulates everything that is the Browns. The helmet, by the way, is not orange. It is brown. So we'll see if they don that with some orange uniforms, which will look bad, or some brown uniforms, which will probably look bad, because orange and brown just kind of looks bad. But it definitely looks bad when one of the employees is trying to help take the tarp off of the helmet, just takes a spill into the lake. That's a tough scene there in Cleveland. I'm sure the Browns have a great year, though. Definitely on that track. Let's talk some LSU football. I've got a series going right now on LouisianaSports.net. It's called In-Depth Chart, where I go into every single position on the field and talk about the entirety of the depth chart. Started with center. We moved out to guard. Now today we talked about both tackle spots. And I kind of start with like who's gone. And y'all are well aware of who's gone, right? Will Campbell is arguably, and you can make a very strong case, the best offensive lineman in LSU history. Now, there are Hall of Famers that have come through LSU, and I'm not going to argue for Will Campbell against Mawai or Faneca. I'm not even in a hurry to do it against Whitworth. But when you look at what Campbell did and came in the spring, 2 weeks into a new staff, had already won the left tackle job, played it every game his entire career except for one that he got sick, became a consensus All-American in the 4th pick in the draft. Like, that body of work is as impressive as anybody who's ever played at LSU. Just is. So if you would rather take Whitworth, you'd rather take I mean, Fannington and Mawai didn't play the tackle spots, but you'd rather take those guys up front. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to argue against it, but Campbell's body of work is strong. And then you look at Emory Jones on the other side, who came in as a 4-star recruit and was inserted into the game in week 2 and the starting lineup in week 3 of his freshman year and never came out. And you look at those two guys who played together 35 times on the offensive line at the bookend tackle spots. That's a special combo in LSU history. Jones goes in the 3rd round to the Ravens, and he'll have a great chance to make that team and be a starter on that team. So those are the guys you got to replace. They've been your starters for 3 years. So what do you do? Well, here are the guys you've got back from the team last year. You got Tyree Adams, who's 6'7", 310, and now a 3rd-year player. You've got Weston Davis, who's 6'7", 315, and is now a 2nd-year player, former 5-star. You've got Kyrie Lee, who might play tackle, might play guard, 6'6", 305. He's in his 2nd year in the program. And you've got Ethan Callaway, who's a towering dude at 6'7", 310, who's also a redshirt sophomore. Those 4 guys are back. Tyree Adams, Weston Davis, Kyrie Lee, and Ethan Callaway. And I think Tyree Adams and Weston Davis are the prohibitive favorites to start at the tackle spots. But you also brought in some new guys. Josh Thompson is a grad transfer from Northwestern, 6'5", 301, and I think they brought him in to play right guard. But Brian Kelly said last week in Atlanta, like, he's versatile, and if we need him to go out there and play tackle, he can go play tackle. And what I read into that is we like Weston Davis. He's 6'7", 315. He was a 5-star recruit. He sat last year and watched, and now he's ready to come in and be the right tackle. And if he's not ready to be the right tackle, Thompson can go do it. But he's there as an insurance policy, but I think he's going to be the right guard. Then you've got the freshman. You've got Tyler Miller, 6'6", 335. Might be a guard, might be a tackle. He's listed as a tackle on LSU's website. I'll take their word for it. You got Solomon Thomas, 5-star, 6'4", 325. Might be a tackle, might be a guard. We'll see. And then you've got the real wild card here. The wild card here is Carius Kern. Carius Kern has absolutely wowed people in Baton Rouge since he arrived. He got here in the spring. He was great in the spring. They looked at him at left tackle a lot. He is 335 pounds, 330 pounds, 6'5", is one of the strongest offensive linemen on the team already. You can see that on the videos they're putting out on Twitter with Freak of the Week. He can do backflips. He was a 5-star, number 1 interior offensive lineman in the country by On3. This is a guy that they could get into the game. And we know that Brad Davis and Brian Kelly are not terrified to put a freshman in the game. And so we'll see if that happens. I think Adams has been groomed for the left tackle spot. He looks like a left tackle. He's 6'7", 310, not a lot of bad weight, moves pretty well, really long arms. And then Weston Davis is the prototype as well. Same type size, basketball player growing up, just started playing football as a sophomore, needed some time to grow up, and maybe he has. He played a little left tackle against Baylor in the bowl game. You look at what Adams did last year against in the Pro Football Focus grades. And again, I talked about this is the last day we'll have to do this, really. But for the offensive line, I don't have a lot of objective metrics to go off of other than Pro Football Focus, which is subjective, but it does bring it into a number form. I can give you receiving yards, rushing yards, passing yards, tackles, sacks, tackles for loss, hurries. I can give you all that. For offensive linemen, I don't have a lot other than here's what the people who watch the tape say. And the people that watch the tape say that Tyree Adams was a 53 grade overall last year, 53.5 in the run game, and 48.4 in the passing game. That is concerning. But you've had a spring, you've had a summer, and you'll have a fall camp. You got a really good offensive line coach who's developed a lot of really good players, and Adams has every tool you could want in the toolbox. Now, Weston Davis does as well. He doesn't have any playing time really behind him other than a couple games last year. So, to me, I think you've got 4 likely candidates to man those 2 spots. It starts with Tyree Adams and Weston Davis. I think Josh Thompson is next up at right tackle, and Karius Kern is right there behind him if things don't work out. Now, Thompson at tackle, where he started 12 games for Northwestern 2 years ago in 2023, was graded a 55.1 in the running game, 62.4 in the passing game. He also doesn't have that elite length. He's a technician. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing, but he's not a dynamic athlete or a freakishly proportioned person. He's just a solid add to this LSU offensive line. One way or another, LSU's going to have to play well at tackle, because if they don't, this thing is in big, big trouble. Garrett Nussmeier was sacked very, very infrequently last year. In fact, there were only 6 teams in college football that had their quarterback sacked fewer than LSU last year. And LSU was in the top 10 in the country in passes attempted. So Nussmeier, 1, gets the ball out very quickly, but 2, was protected very well last year. And if that breaks down and he's uncomfortable in the backfield, looking down the field, he's not going to be able to make LSU's offense hum with the great wide receivers they have. If these guys don't play well and are liabilities on the edge, and you got to leave Bauer Sharp in to block, and you got to leave a back end to block, and you limit what you've got out in routes, and all that stuff happens, then you're not going to be as dynamic as you need to be. What you need to have happen is that LSU needs to be comfortable with their 5 offensive linemen, comfortable with Garrett Nussmeier's reading of the defense and where the pressure's coming from, and comfortable to let the routes progress and go get them. If LSU can allow that receiving core to roam, they will carve teams up. But if they can't block, they've got no chance. Like, that is the chasm that we're working with based on offensive line play. And I know, and I've said this a bunch of times, but if you're one of these LSU fans that absolutely bemoaned the offensive line last year because they can't run the ball and they can't run block and they're overrated and I'm sick of watching it and they're one-dimensional, and that's the way you formed your opinion on this, again, that's your right. I would suggest this to the counter. They were really, really, really good in pass pro, and that allowed LSU to throw for 4,000 yards. And yes, I want LSU to get better in the run game. They've got to get better in the run game. We talked about it in What If Wednesday in the middle of the first hour. But I don't want to compromise pass protection too much, because I still think that's going to be LSU's strength, is throwing the ball. Your quarterback is seasoned, veteran, and talented. Your wide receiving core is awesome. Like, you want to throw the ball. You've got to have the ability to protect to do that. And I think sometimes we may have taken that ability to protect for granted because they didn't block as well for the run. And that's what you're going to have from this group of offensive linemen. My contention on this whole thing, LSU does take a step back at tackle this year. I don't know how you could not take a step back, but I still think they're going to be good enough because they've got a quarterback that reads defense as well and gets rid of the football as quickly as anybody in the country. That's a metric that they keep. So you're going to take a step back. How big a step back is probably the biggest deal. Is it minuscule and Nussmeier's fine, or are you really struggling on the perimeter to protect, and do you have to compromise your entire offense because of it? That's Brad Davis's chore. I asked Brian Kelly about it last Monday. He said they knew they were losing 4 guys. They're ready to go. And we'll see if they're ready to go when we get out to the practice a week from tomorrow. So that's my look at LSU's tackle spot. If you want to read in depth about it, a lot of stats and some other thoughts in there, you can find it for free every single day for the next 15 days at louisianasports.net. All right, we'll step aside when we come back. The Saints were actually on the practice field today. I'll give you what I've read and my interpretation of that coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website, HighlandIG.com. If you're dissatisfied with your commercial insurance, make Highland Insurance Group the next viable option. They are more than happy to take a look at your current policy, no matter what you've got in place, and audit it. And they'll tell you for free, here's what's good about it, here are my concerns, this we've got to fix. And the more that falls into that latter category, the more you'll realize, hey, these guys are experts. I need to take care of my business with my insurance dollars. Let them handle it. And they will. Jonathan Carver and his team have done it for a long time, and they're happy to help you anywhere in the state of Louisiana. They can get you into captives. They can help your property insurance policy as storm season's here. If you're not sure about EPL insurance, crime insurance, cyber insurance, what the proper workers' comp classifications are supposed to look like, he can handle all that over at Highland Insurance Group. It's HighlandIG.com. The Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business is always...
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Get into the pool of your dreams as quickly as you can. If you've always thought about getting a pool in the backyard but never quite had the guts to make it happen, call Joey Blanchard and the folks at Renaissance Homes and Pools. You can find them online. Fill out the contact sheet, builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. The best part about working with Renaissance is you're working with a local company. Joey has been here for years and years and years, decades, and he's helped dozens and dozens of folks in the Baton Rouge area get into their pool. So no matter what you're looking for, a little cocktail pool for the kids to swim by, make sure you can get some sun at the pool, looking for one to help the grandkids out. Renaissance Homes and Pools can do it for you. It starts with a consultation with Joey, what you're looking for, what they can do for you, what your ideas are. If you maybe don't know where to start, Joey can help you with that. And with the software they've got on hand, they can lay it out to scale three-dimensional, with an outdoor kitchen, without an outdoor kitchen, with the furniture, without the furniture, the whole deal. And you can see it for yourself before they start digging in your backyard. And you'll work with Joey every single step of the way, from the design to the digging, to the filling into the pool, to the finish, all the way through. Joey is there step by step. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. Check them out online, builtbyrenaissance.com. All right, obviously, you're well aware I was not at Saints practice today. I'm here doing a radio show, and we'll certainly talk to Luke tomorrow about what he saw out there the first 2 days, because he'll have seen camp tomorrow as well. But I have been able to glean a lot from Twitter, where there's a lot of video and a lot of information on the old Twitter feed. And then Ross Jackson has an incredibly detailed practice report up at LouisianaSports.net. That's awesome. You can go by play. You can get Ross's impressions, the results, some statistics. It's all there for free. You don't have to get behind a paywall or subscribe or do a free trial, deal with pop-up ads. If you're looking for Saints content, you can find it at LouisianaSports.net for free. Clearly, all eyes today, tractor beam right on quarterback, right? That's the story. It's the first-year head coach in Kellen Moore. It's the highest draft pick in 50 years in Tyler Shuck. It's a guy in Spencer Rattler who took the reins for a portion of last year. And it's time to go. It's time to compete. And I think everybody that I've talked to and most people that are evaluating the situation feel like that Shook is the best bet because he's the guy that this staff drafted. They did not draft Spencer Rattler last year. That was, of course, the Dennis Allen regime. So who would take the first reps today? Who's going to get that first leg up in the quarterback competition? Well, today there were 17 first-team snaps. Spencer Rattler got all 17. There were 15 second-team snaps. Tyler Shuck got all 15. There were 10 third-team snaps. Jake Haener got all 10. Now, you're going to go, whoa, Shuck didn't even get a single rep with the first team? Kind of a statement, huh? No, not really. Kellen Moore came to the microphone, did not play coy, did not try to hide from it, did not deflect or give a coach speak answer. So, no, we gave Rattler the reps today because it's seniority. Now, as Ross points out in his story on LouisianaSports.net, like, Jake Haener has more seniority than both of them when it comes to NFL service time. But I don't think he's really in this battle. This is a Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler battle. They got a long training camp ahead. You got one guy who's been in the league a little bit longer. He gets the nod today. Tomorrow, you would expect Tyler Shuck to get significant action behind the first-team offensive line with the first-team weapons. You look at the statistics that Ross has published on LouisianaSports.net, and it was a really, really solid day from Spencer Rattler with the football. 9 of 9 with the first team. Did a great job of operating the offense. A lot of it was in the intermediate game. Shuck was 2 of 6 with a couple of sacks. And it's very clearly written by Ross on LouisianaSports.net that, like, hey, these statistics are pretty skewed here. Rattler, perfect 9 for 9. Shuck, 2 for 6, couple of sacks. Like, that's a big disparity. But Rattler had the first-team offensive line and had all day to throw at times. Shuck was behind the second-team offensive line and had no time and was running for his life. And that's where the sacks come in, and that's where the incompletions come in, and that's where the inconsistencies come in. You're working with the second team. Now, we'll see if you flip this tomorrow and Shuck is 3 for 9 behind the first team and Rattler is 6 out of 7 with 2 touchdowns behind the second team. Well, that's a pretty big step in the right direction for Spencer Rattler. If these stats just flip on their heads and Shuck's great with the first team and Rattler's not so good with the second team, well, you kind of have your idea of what's going on. It's just a tougher deal to play behind the second team. Always is. Kicker is an interesting battle that we're not talking about a ton in the offseason, but I think will get some play in training camp. Blake Grupe is the incumbent, obviously. He nailed all 5 of his 5 kicks. An extra point, 38 yards, 41 yards, 47 yards, 49 yards. He was money. Matthew Hayball comes up. Sorry, that was in the punting competition. Matthew Hayball comes up where he's competing with James Burnham. And the Aussie was really good, apparently, getting the ball well up in the air. The thought is that Charlie Smith has a chance to unseat Blake Grupe at the kicking spot, but there will be a competition. Grupe can't keep up from a leg strength perspective. He can keep up with his accuracy, and he was great today in that spot. safety is a big deal for this New Orleans Saints team now that Tyrann Mathieu is moving on. You're looking at Justin Reed, who they just signed to a free agent deal. He was out there today. Jordan Howden was out there with him in the secondary. The second team included Jonas Sanker, Terrell Burgess, J.T. Gray, and Elliott Davidson were out there with the third team. So this is Howden's shot. Like, this kind of came out of nowhere. Didn't know that Tyrann was going to hang it up. Who knows when the Saints were made aware of it? We certainly weren't as of yesterday at this point. And then all of a sudden, you've got an empty spot in the secondary. Can Jordan Howden go out there and win it? Or does Jonas Sanker come and potentially steal that spot? That's going to be something to watch in all of camp. Howden's not a guy I'm trying to kick out the door. Howden is young. He is cheap. He's shown some flashes at times, mostly on special teams. But if he can prove that he's got a chance to be a really good player, then I'd want to give him more looks. And the truth be told, he probably wasn't going to get a ton of looks with Tyrann out there. Tyrann was going to be the starter if healthy. Tyrann's been pretty healthy. So this, while it's disappointing to us as Louisiana sports fans, as LSU fans, as Saint fans, to see Tyrann step away because you've got a sentimental attachment to him, as I've always talked about, like, Tyrann was not going to be on the next great Saints team. Neither is Cam Jordan. Neither is Demario Davis. Kamara may not be. Ramczyk certainly isn't. Like, there's a generation there that's going to phase out, and Tyrann is part of that generation. Now he's out, and as big a bummer as that is, it's opportunity for younger players. It's opportunity for guys they've drafted later in rounds that have been in the league for 1-2 years that can now make their claim to a safety spot that wasn't otherwise open after Justin Reed was signed. So I'm curious to watch how that plays out, and it'll be something absolutely to look at. Another thing that Ross notes beyond Kamara, two backs saw a majority of the first team reps, rookie Devin Neal and veteran Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Neal also saw snaps with the second team, along with Kendre Miller, and then Cam Akers worked along multiple units. Interesting that Devin Neal was getting some first team reps, and Kendre Miller was not. That's surprising to me. Now, we talked a lot about how much we like Devin Neal immediately after the draft process in the spring. And certainly there's a lot of reasons. When you're the leading rusher in any college football program's history, you're doing something right. And Devin Neal is that for Kansas. But Kendre Miller, we thought, had kind of emerged out of the shadows of the Dennis Allen era and was going to be able to maybe take a step forward this year. And you certainly don't rule that out after a 90-minute practice, but it is interesting that they put the rookie out there in Devin Neal and not Kendre Miller in his third year, who was a pretty high draft choice. Interesting, I might add. So lots and lots of notes and nuggets from Saints training camp today. Ross Jackson has got you covered there over on LouisianaSports.net. We've got you covered at Hunt on LSU, and then, of course, Hunt on Saints for all of your Saints content. We'll talk to Luke tomorrow. We'll get a handle on what's going on out there in Metairie, but I wanted to give those guys a chance to go in, watch practice, get their practice reports done, do their press conference, their interviews, and then tomorrow we'll bother Luke, and then certainly we'll talk to somebody else who's out there coming up on Friday. Lots of Saints coverage as the Black and Gold are out there on the practice field for training camp here on July the 23rd in Metairie. We've got 30 minutes to go. We'll step aside, take a timeout, come back with more. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Customized closet space. Maybe not something you think about, but man, is it important. We moved into my old house and closet space wasn't great. My wife's looking around going, this is not going to work. And we could have called David, and we would have called David if we didn't know we were going to move. Once Keller came, young pup, we were going to need another bedroom, so we were going to get out of there. And once we did, we prioritized closet space, and we're thrilled with what we've done there. But you don't have to move to get a brand new closet. You can get one in your home. And David Duvall is happy to do it. Go check out the pictures. They're great work. They're right there on OneBathAndClosets.com. They're customized. They're gorgeous. They're functional. And they give you just a lot of freedom and space. If you got a ton of clutter and you're just sick of it, let David come in and help you with all of that. He's done it for lots and lots of folks in the Baton Rouge area. He can do it for you. It's been doing it 3 decades. It's One Bath and Closets. Get that free consultation today at onebathandclosets.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies. We've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability. Because your well-being is more than a priority, it's our purpose.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Beck, did you happen to see what T-Bob Hebert got into last night?
Yeah, I saw it.
So for those that aren't familiar, Barstool has a streaming content show where they try to do outlandish things like make 50 free throws in a row between 5 people and run a marathon or make a hole-in-one. They had to start from scratch and win a national championship in football, which took like 2 days. On the new NCAA game. And last night's task and challenge was they took 9 guys and they had to eat 99 hot dogs and drink 99 beers in the 9 innings of the Cubs game from a Wrigley rooftop. They got Joey Chestnut on their team, and you might go, well, he could eat like 50 hot dogs probably. He was not allowed to eat hot dogs. He was only allowed to drink beer. And Mincy, who doesn't drink, ate hot dogs, and that was their 10th guy. So they had 10 people trying to do 99 and 99 over 9 innings. Now, having failed miserably at this challenge,
yeah, of course.
Would you have had any advice for the gang previous to them starting out?
Yeah, my advice would be to buy. I don't know if they put a limit on it, but buy as many hot dogs and beers at one time.
They already had that.
If you already have it,
they were on a rooftop and they just had to grab them.
Yeah, so that's the easiest thing, is having the access to it and not having to continually get up and go wait in line for 15 minutes to get what you need and then get back. Because look, their game, I wanted to check the game time and see how long it was. It was only 2 hours and 28 minutes, which is that's not a lot of time.
It's not.
And so when you're spending 15 minutes in line just to go get a couple of beers and hot dogs, sometimes 20 minutes, that's going to really cut into your ability to do it, even if you are physically capable of it. So
T-Bob went 11 beers, 11 dogs last night.
Yeah, that's not too surprising, I think. I think it's not very surprising that he was able to do it, but it's still an impressive feat nonetheless.
It is. I was watching at the very beginning. Morale was very high. I think they crushed like 28 hot dogs in the first inning between the 10 of them. They were just hammering them down. And then they hit a wall at about the 5th.
Yeah.
And it was a real tough scene. T-Bob, for those that haven't seen this, you can probably follow T-Bob on some social media. Like, my man was hurting in the last half of that game. He was pacing the bleachers. They were on, for those that are not familiar with Wrigley, there are apartments across the street that have bleachers on the top of them. Barstool rented out a whole thing, so it's just them up there. And so T-Bob is literally pacing, just taking individual bites out of a hot dog, trying to suck down the beer. I don't have a great plan for how I would try to accomplish this, because I don't like drinking beer when I'm really full. And I feel like if you get real full off beer, like, and you're kind of buzzing, kind of drunk, and like, oh, let me eat these hot dogs. And then like you realize like one hot dog and you're like, well, I don't really want to eat 3 hot dogs. I just wanted the one hot dog. In my head, I was thinking, I was watching last night, I'd be like, I would just knock down 4 beers like really quickly. And then like, oh, I'd be kind of hungry because I'm drunk. And I'm like, yeah, here's a dog. And then I'd realize that I'd get to like the 7th inning and I'd have to eat like 6 hot dogs in 20 minutes.
That's
and I just
a problem.
can't do that. Like that's not a doable thing. So I don't have a great plan. Like, I would have no issue whatsoever knocking down 11 beers during a baseball game. I mean, that's just easy money.
It is.
The hot dog portion of this is a problem, and I don't have a good solution for it.
Were they eating buns? They were eating buns and
Yeah, like
okay.
Dana, one of the guys, was dunking the buns. Like he was eating the hot dog wiener, and then he was dunking the buns.
Yeah.
He was struggling too, but he got through like 11 and 11 as well.
Yeah, very impressive.
They finished right there at the end. They were like jamming buns into their mouths, and like they were trying to get foul balls in the 9th inning, and then one of the Royals got a hit, which extended the game another 3 minutes, and they got it done like on the number. They finished the beers after like 7 1/3 or 8 innings, so they were off beer. They were trying to get Diet Coke sent up there and try to get it down. It did not look fun. It sounds on its head for somebody that's like a young guy that loves to eat and drinks, like, oh, 9-9, I got that easy. Just thinking about it on top of my head and then watching these guys do it, it's like it doesn't look very pleasant.
No, it's
not. It doesn't look a fun way to watch a game.
No, I'll say that I would probably try it again just because I want to give a better effort, because I know what it takes now going in, and so it is not the most enjoyable thing to do that during the game, because again, not only
but they had better circumstances than you. They had
did.
the beers
They
ready
did.
and the dogs ready.
Yes, that's the best. That is a really good way.
Oh, and I forgot
if you can
one
do that.
caveat they had. You probably missed this.
I didn't see that. What?
So the entirety of the 7th inning, you could vomit.
Oh, wow.
So they had trash cans set up, and they just like went after it, and it was disgusting and hilarious at the same time. Quality entertainment, but a couple of guys like got after it in the 7th inning. Like,
I'm not doing that.
They were getting rid of everything they had, and I didn't see T-Bob do that. I saw 2 guys that were just leaned over, but yeah, just that's the quality of content that we've got on the internet these days. Guys just yakking in trash cans and trying to house 100 hot dogs and 100 beers. So that's Barstool, and T-Bob's going to fit in quite nicely up there. Speaking of baseball, I do have some baseball content here. Baseball America came out with their way too early top 25 for 2026. Got any guesses where the Tigers ranked?
Let me guess. 1?
Not 1, 2. UCLA, which I vividly remember this. I called the UCLA LSU game on that. I guess that was on Monday and Tuesday, and in Omaha. And on Monday night, we get the lineup sheets. And I'm going through, I'm doing my scorebook, sitting next to Chris Blair, and I looked and I recalled that Jay Johnson had said in his press conference, like, yeah, they got a great sophomore class. And you can have a great sophomore class, like 4 studs in it. They had 8 of 9 starters were sophomores, and their starting pitcher was a sophomore. So, like, the whole team was a sophomore. And they got all that back. They've got Rock Chalowski coming back, and then they also added Will Gasparino from Texas, who's a big, lanky outfielder with some power. So they're going to have a ton of really good juniors on that team. My question with UCLA is I didn't see any high-end pitching talent on that team, and that has to change or you have no chance. You can be as talented 1 to 9 as you want. If you don't have some dudes to go out there and strike people out and get out, they were just churning through bullpen arms the whole time they were up in Omaha, and that's just not going to get it done. So I'm skeptical of that part of UCLA, but the offense is going to be good. LSU is ranked number 2 in this list. I'll give you the blurb on the Tigers from Baseball America. It said it would have been easy and widely accepted if LSU topped the list after winning its second national title in 3 years, with the roster largely put together by first-year Tigers. And Jay Johnson's a master team builder, and his team is among the best in the country to extract a maximum value from their players. We expect them to keep doing so in 2026. Then he goes through the guys they lost: Anderson, Ianson, Shores, Jared Jones, Ethan Fry, Dickinson, Hernandez, and says Grand Canyon slugger Zach York, Oregon State third baseman Trent Carraway, and Kansas State first baseman Seth Dardar headline a promising group of young offensive transfers on the mound. Former Kansas righty Cooper Moore, former Oregon lefty Santiago Garcia, and former North Dakota State lefty Danny Lockenmeyer brings similarly high upside to that class. It's safe to once again expect a lot out of LSU, which has been nothing short of phenomenal under Johnson's leadership. If you remember, we talked to a couple of different college baseball writers, Jacob Rudner and Peter Flaherty. They combined to put this together, and Rudner talked to us and said he thought that Jay Johnson was clearly the best coach in college baseball. So it should come as no surprise when we hear that from somebody on our airwaves that has written that at Baseball America, that they're going to be very, very high on LSU. Y'all know my feelings. Like I feel like as long as LSU has Jay Johnson at the helm, he's going to put together a really good roster. When I look at this roster, I see a roster that's very much national championship caliber. They've got to have some guys take a step up. Like, no national championship roster has guys that perform at one level one year and then do the exact same the next year. Like, everybody's got to rise, because ultimately you're always going to lose some of your high-end players year over year. You've got to have guys step up. And Casey Evans has got to be better next year than he was last year. And I would suggest that you've got to have some progression from Cade Arambidi. You've got to have progression, especially against left-handers, from Jake Brown. You're going to have progression in SEC play from Stephen Milam. You're going to have progression from Maverick Rizzi and William Schmidt and Cooper Williams. Like, those guys are going to have to be better than they were, but that's the nature of college baseball and certainly the nature of Jay Johnson's program. Anthony Ianson was a different guy at LSU in June than he was at UC San Diego last May. And Chase Shores blossomed late in his season. And you saw awesome stuff from Chris Stanfield, who wasn't that good at Auburn the year before. So if you just get that natural progression from all the guys that I'm mentioning that are coming back, that are going to be on this team, I'm not asking for somebody to become Cade Anderson and lead the nation in strikeouts. It'd be great if Casey Evans did that, and it's possible. But I just need everybody to kind of take that step. And if they do, LSU's as good as anybody. Just if you're curious as to where some other teams rank, Texas is third. Mississippi State with Brian O'Connor comes in at fourth. Auburn comes in at fifth as they return a lot from that freshman class. Chris Rembert, Chase Fralick, Bub Terrell. They lose Sam Dutton, lose Ike Iris, lose Cooper McMurray. That's a big deal. But Auburn is at 5. Georgia is at 6. Tennessee is at 7. So is that 6 of the top 7 from the SEC? That is 6 of the top 7 from the SEC. So that's about right. You're talking about a league that's won 6 national titles in a row. 6 of the top 7 from the SEC. If you're going, where the heck is Arkansas? I scrolled through this list earlier, and they were a lot lower than I just generally think of them being. They've got Arkansas at number 11. And then I thought that was interesting that Texas A&M all the way down at number 25 on this list as they try to run it back with coaching staff that I think is in over their head. But Gavin Grahovic and Caden Sorrell in that lineup, along with Terrence Keel, generally speaking, is a pretty good place to start. And Shane Tadeo, for them, decided to come back. So big for the Aggies. But they got him at 25th. LSU second in Baseball America's way too early top 25 poll. Come back and close it out. Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is that website. Every vehicle in the line, all of them, high-end, entry-level, sedan, SUV, every single model at Genesis is an IHA top safety pick. All of them. And some of them top safety picks plus. If you want to be in one of the safest cars on the road, you can get behind the wheel of a Genesis and know that's the case. Like when you test drive it, whether that's remote, at home, or near the office, or go to the dealership at Airline at PQ, you'll feel the comfort, the style, the beauty, the features. They'll walk you through everything, but you can't really know how safe a vehicle is until it's tested, and they've done that. The IHA gave them a top safety pick. So understand that's what you're getting behind the wheel of. If you're on Airline Highway looking for a vehicle and you stop it off at a bunch of dealerships, make one more stop at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Go see them. Tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you in there. Tell them you want to talk with one of their brand ambassadors. You want to get behind the wheel and see what it's about. I promise you will not be disappointed. It's a luxury brand. It's a luxury experience at a reasonable price. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. You can find them online at genesisofbatonrouge.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows always brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Been a good one thus far. Got to look at Saints camp from afar with Ross Jackson. We'll look a little bit more closely tomorrow with Luke Johnson. Gave you my thoughts on LSU's offensive tackle group. news of Trey Holly moving on, Tyrann Matthews' retirement. BT was great talking about that. So plenty to look at on demand here on this Wednesday. It'll all go up on YouTube, wherever you find your sound. If you search Hunt Palmer Show, like, subscribe, rate, review. Always appreciate y'all getting our content in front of as many folks as possible. The dog days are like kind of over. It's crazy how fast that goes when the baseball team handles their business, because like the Saints are in camp, so we're talking about real stuff with the Saints. LSU football is a week away from being in camp, and we just got by the MLB draft. Like it goes quickly when LSU does what they're supposed to do on the dime. I'm going to try to get Jay Johnson here in the next couple of days now that the dust has basically settled. River Hamilton signed last night with the Detroit Tigers. That was the one LSU signing that was selected in the 11th round that may have been either or. You felt like he was probably going to decide to go, and he has. So it's really basically your roster set up at this point. And so maybe we can get Jay on now that that's calmed down a little bit, and we can talk about what the draft process was like and what the summer balls look like, and kind of look towards the fall when LSU get back out there in a matter of a couple of months. But classes start up in, I guess, 3 weeks at this point now. So summer just about over here in the sporting world. So the show's just about over. We got one more order of business. Let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer built for Louisiana weekends, whether you're on the lake, whether you're on the grill, boiling, tailgating. Cool, crisp, refreshing, all the flavor of beer, but also on the light side, just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. The oldest brewery in America, still family run and operated to this day by the Yingling family. It's Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, first one. Jacksonville Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen said they plan on having Heisman winner Travis Hunter practice at both receiver and cornerback in training camp, signaling their intention to play Hunter at both positions once we get into the real games. Hunter playing corner and receiver. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I think it's possible to do. I think you've got to be incredibly judicious about where you spend his time and feel like he can impact the game the most. You can't play a guy 140 snaps in an NFL game. So you've got to figure out where the best 90 are and make sure that he does that. I don't know what he's better at. My gut tells me it's wide receiver, and that's where they're going to spend the most time. But if you feel like you've got a bit of a hole at corner and he can play corner in the NFL, and you've got some wide receivers that you feel good about, and Brian Thomas is a pretty good place to start, like, okay, I understand. I think he's a receiver eventually, but I'm not going to tell him you have to do this or you have to do that. I think Shohei Ohtani's kind of shown us that you can do some stuff if you try, and Hunter is the Heisman Trophy winner. I don't think it's unreasonable to give a comp to Shohei.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's see how it goes. I mean, I think before Shohei started playing in the majors, a lot of people questioned that about how it would work. A lot of people thought it would not be able to work with the workload and the way that they manage.
He was
players.
thought of as a pitcher.
Yeah. No one really thought he was gonna. Maybe he'll get some
best
pitch
hitter
hits.
in the league.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next one, the two teams with the best record in MLB right now are the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, I know.
The Brewers will still be around by September. Take it or leave it.
I have to take it.
I'll take it.
You weren't here. It was Monday. I went on a rant and raving like an idiot.
Okay.
It sounded like a moron.
Yeah.
I don't understand the Brewers.
Yeah.
I don't. They just never. They finally lost last night.
They did.
Keller was screaming, so I had to stay up late, and I was like, oh, well, they're playing on the West Coast. Played the Mariners. Finally, they lose the game. It took a month for them to lose the game. I never heard of anybody on their team. And
yeah,
yet,
you've heard of Christian Yelich.
I've heard of him. He's way past his prime.
Eh.
Woodruff, shoulder surgery. Way past his prime.
Bryce Terang, you've heard of him.
Yeah, well, Terang and Mizorowski I don't like because they signed at LSU and didn't come, and they signed with the Brewers, so that's bad. They got rich doing it, and they probably don't care what I have to say, but I have interest. They're that the Brewers are bad and LSU is good, and when they forego LSU and then they go play for the Brewers, it's directly contradictory to my interest. So I don't like that either. And I think the Cubs should be way better than the Brewers, And they're not. They're tied with the Brewers, and they're about to be behind the Brewers because we're going to lose to the Royals.
Yeah, not looking great right now.
Correct.
Brewers playing right now, though, against the Mariners, so maybe they could lose too.
That'd be great.
Yeah. All right, last one. Actually, we got two more here.
Hey.
Let's see. We get them through them real quick. Dan Lanning, Oregon coach, is advocating for college football to adopt an NFL-style schedule with limited open weeks and no long layoffs for playoff teams, and a season that would wrap at the beginning of January as opposed to later in the month. Of course, the Ducks did have a long layoff in their playoff run last year. They had to wait 25 days before playing Ohio State. A shorter playoff in college football. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
That sounds fine to me. I don't have to wait. I don't know what the point is to have the season wrap up Thanksgiving weekend and then go back and play after Christmas in the bowl games like we used to do. I don't know if that was a finals thing or a school thing or just because the holiday is an easier time to play a lot of football games. Like, I don't really know. But I'm okay with crunching it down. I mean, we're playing in cold weather stadiums now, so that's what we're gonna do. We made the decision to play some cold weather college football games. I'm fine with it.
All right, last one real quick. You're gonna like this one, Hunt. Live golfer Lee Westwood had a few comments about the official world golf ranking.
Awesome.
Live are waiting for to hear back if their latest submission to get accredited by the official world golf ranks will go through. He called the system a, quote, mockery after he went up 3,700 spots with his tie for 34th in the Open. The official world golf rankings is a mockery. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I'll save Lee his time. You're 900th in the world. That's what you are now. You're old. You took the money. Enjoyed the money. You can't compete anymore. So carry on. That's it for this Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're back tomorrow. Lots of Saints football as well as a look at LSU. Have a good Wednesday. See you tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This